be playing in green and white next season. In an effort to save money, many of their players have been told to find new clubs. Worrying times for Hibs. Joining us live now is Managing Director Rod Petrie. Rod, I was on some of the fanzine websites last night, just getting out sort of a breadth of opinion amongst Hibs fans, and they're very, very worried and very, very angry this has happened so suddenly. What's going on?
Well, welcome to Easter Road. It's another bright sunny day in the capital and a great day for football at Easter Road. As Pete said, there will be some changes in personnel during the close season. This season is no different from any other. A number of players who are out of contract and vacancies in the player pool as Bobby Williamson sets to assemble his squad for next season.
Yeah, but Bobby Williamson isn't Bobby Williamson is a situation here where he's got to offload the majority of his first team squad at the moment. It would appear, looking at newspaper reports, and that's going to be hugely disappointing for the fans.
Well, that's not correct. There are players who are in contract and the players who are coming out of contract, and such is the nature of football these days, that the players' contracts tend to be for a shorter and shorter period. So as last year there were a number of players out of contract, this year too there will be a number of players out of contract. We're looking to operate a squad of 22 to 24 first team players. We have 18 players who are in contract for next season, so there will have to be additions to build up the pool for the start of next season.
How does the actual scale of the exodus compare to what's actually been reported? Because it's been reported that an awful lot of players are actually on their way out.
Well, what we're doing is the same as every other team in Scottish football. We're working and operating within a budget. The budget in terms of the player pool for next year is less than it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it's been well documented changes in the finances of Scottish football. Within that budget, the manager has choices to make in terms of the players that he would wish to bring to the club and those that he would wish to give contracts to. So we're doing exactly the same as everybody else in Scottish football is, and taking the club forward and operating within the financial constraints of a budget which is appropriate and competitive with every other club out with the old firm.
Rod, good afternoon, it's Des McKeown here. O.Neil obviously still has a year left on his contract according to paper reports, and the treatment of O.Neil is such that he's been told that he can't play for the club because of large appearance fees. What message does that send to any potential players that Bobby Williamson is trying to sign for the club?
Well, that's not correct. O.Neil does have a contract for next year with the club, and part of that contract includes a variety of features, one of which has been reported in the papers is an appearance fee. So it's a choice for the manager in terms of he wishes to pick a player with an appearance fee, and that is part of the allocation of his budget, or whether he wishes to take that money and spend it on 1, 2 or possibly 3 other players. So that is the harsh reality of operating within a budget, that you have to allocate your resources, and it's a football decision, it's a finance decision, the two can't be separated. We have to operate within a financial budget for next year.
Rod, lots of emails and texts coming in. Jerry Freeman puts it quite simply. He says, what is the current debt at Hibernia? And then he says, I believe the Easter Road Stadium is worth £40 million. Well,
I'm glad he holds it in such high regard and gives it such a high valuation. We've got a great stadium here at Easter Road. As I said the last time we spoke, it's like having a house. We've got a house and we've got a mortgage. The debt is structured towards the long-term nature of the asset that we've got here. The club is on a sound and safe footing.
Rod, just a very final question here. There's supposedly was supposed to be a vote on Thursday about promotion and relegation involving Falkirk. Hibs seem to be the only team that wants to put that off for 2 weeks. Why?
There was a proposal that there would be a meeting on Thursday to have a general meeting which is required if Falkirk's proposals are different from straightforward ownership. That requires at least a 14-day notice period. The 14-day notice period hasn't been given.
Yeah.
We have no new information since the last submission that Falkirk made, so it seemed to make perfect sense to allow the submission to come forward, to give people time to consider it and make a proper and balanced judgment on the facts that are before us.
OK, Rod, thanks very much indeed for joining us and answering all those questions on Lunchtime Sports Scene.
Thank you.
Now, until the Falkirk factor is decided, Motherwell